I've done the research. I've looked at the numbers. I've crunched all the data, and I know exactly when the perfect time to put your house up for sale is, and it's April 14th. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Bald Prairie Real Estate. If you're new here, my name is Matthew Pfeiffer. I'm a real estate agent in Regina, Saskatchewan. But this is going to be a special episode of Bald Prairie Real Estate because it's 1 year that I've been doing videos for YouTube. For all of you that have been along this journey for the last 12 months, thank you very much. It is so appreciated, all the support, the comments, everything else has been fantastic. But I am really excited for the content I've got planned for the next 12 months of Bald Prairie Real Estate. I've got some great videos that you're not going to want to miss. But this episode, it's all about when is the right time to put your house up for sale so you can maximize sale price and get it sold even faster. Everybody talks about the spring market being the best time to sell, and it's true. That's when the most buyers are out, but there's some advantages and disadvantages to selling in the spring market, just like there is in any season in Canada, because the seasons play a huge factor in the respective markets at those times. So I've broken down the data. I've looked at prices versus sales versus listings. I've used my own experience selling houses in every single time of the year so that you can watch this video and know exactly by the end of this video when it is the right time to put your house up for sale. But as always, we gotta start this off with another one of my terrible bad dad jokes. This one's about my printer. Did you know he's got a name? His name's Bob Marley because he's always jamming. Before we look at each individual season, let's talk about what I call the M curve. M for Matt, of course, or because the sales data looks exactly like an M, maybe that's more accurate. What I've done is I've compiled a chart here for sales data for Vancouver. I've used the last 3 years, and I picked Vancouver because they've got a lot of data available, but also because they're the least weather-dependent market in Canada, I feel, because they got fantastic weather in Vancouver. But even still, with that fantastic weather in Vancouver, you still see very distinct differences between the peaks and the valleys for sales throughout the year. Starting in the year, and you're gonna look at sales are gonna be in blue, listings are in green. Starting the year, sales increase every single month, as do listings all the way until May. Then as the school year ends, everybody goes on summer holidays, you see a distinct decline in the number of sales. It'll pick back up though as we get through into the fall. Everybody gets back into a more normal routine after the Labor Day weekend. People start thinking about buying and selling houses, so sales and listings increase again. It peaks out near October. This is very much dependent on when the snow falls. Okay, maybe not in Vancouver, but for the rest of Canada, once you start to see the snowfall, that's when both sales and listings start to decline again. So a very distinct kind of M shape to the sales. Now you've got a good idea of what happens throughout the entire year. Let's go look at each individual season and talk about the benefits and the negatives and the strategies to get your house sold in each one of those seasons. Let's start off by talking about the fall market, and I consider fall September and October. Of course, every city is gonna be a little bit different when these kick off, but I like to say the fall market starts after the Labor Day weekend. This is that second burst of activity that you're gonna get in the year, and it's the final shot as a seller to get your house sold before the snow flies. Because if you don't get it sold before the snow falls, guess what? You're probably holding on to that house till the spring market starts in February. So 3, 4, 5 months potentially, you're holding on to your house and you can't get it sold. Buyers that are out at this time, they generally want to buy a house before that snow falls, but more importantly, before Christmas and New Year's. That's when they're looking to have possession. So they're going to be buying those houses September, October for late November, early December possessions. As with any change in seasons, have your photos represent the season. Photos from July don't look very good in September, October, where the leaves are totally different colors. So update your photos as well. But sellers, fall is when you need to have a sense of urgency. You got to get that house sold. You do have this burst of activity to take advantage of, but if you miss out on the opportunity, you're probably holding that house until the spring market kicks off. Could be a number of months. Urgency is important. Selling in the winter months, so that is in my mind November, December, January, and the start of February. Yes, you can sell your house in the winter. There actually are some advantages to selling in the winter. The first one is those buyers that are out, they're gonna be motivated. I have yet to meet a buyer who is going out in -30 and 2 feet of snow just to look at a house because they were bored or they're kicking tires. So as a seller, when you get a showing request, that's probably a motivated buyer. You wanna make sure you accommodate that. The other advantage to selling in the winter is you have less competition. You look at that chart again, you'll see that November, December, January, February, you see a lot less listings than you will during the spring market. So you're gonna be able to set yourself apart from the houses that are out there because there isn't very many choices for a buyer to look at. So you wanna make sure your house looks good. You can't lean on the fantastic backyard you've got because the seller can't see that, obviously when 2 or 3 feet of snow on the ground. But what you can do is have all the photos you took from the summer, especially if you've got a really good looking backyard, set those out on the kitchen countertops or something like that so that a buyer can walk through and see how fantastic your yard is in the summer. So yes, you can sell a house in the middle of winter. You've just got to make sure that your photos are appropriate and understand that a buyer that's out in -30, they're motivated, but they're also probably looking for a little bit of a deal. They understand that sellers selling in the middle of the winter are probably a little more motivated to get it sold, maybe a little bit desperation. So you've got to account for that as well. These buyers are motivated, but they understand they're looking for deals. But you can still sell a house in the middle of winter. The summer market is another one of the slow periods in the real estate market, but you can still get a house sold. You just have to make sure you're appealing to the buyers that are probably going to be buying in the summer months. So a lot of people have gone out on vacation, summer holidays, that type of thing. They're not really thinking real estate. But the ones that are looking for quick possessions generally. Why? Because they want to get into a house before the school year starts. This is important to those buyers. They want to know where their kids are going to school, what the bus routes are going to be, walking distance, that type of thing. So if you're able to provide a possession before the school year starts, you might be able to get a little bit of a higher price point because buyers are going to be willing to pay for that convenience, or they have to be into a house. The other one you get is the job transfer market, where one spouse has often come to your city, they've started their job, and the other spouse and the kids were still back at home, finishing up school, that type of thing. They've taken some summer holidays, and again, they're gonna be coming into town probably for like a weekend. They're gonna look at a whole bunch of houses, and they're gonna buy one of those. Those are a very, very motivated buyer. If you have a buyer like that wants to see your house, make sure your house is available. You have the advantage in the summer too to lean on the awesome exterior features of your house. Backyard patios, decks, great yards, backing parks, that type of thing. Leverage all of those with great photos, things like that, to help show off how awesome a house like yours is in the summer. So for a recap for summer, you want to make sure that you can provide quicker possessions because that's what those buyers are looking for, and leverage how awesome your yard, exterior features are, outdoor things like that. That's what you want to focus on when you're selling in the summer months. The spring market is for sure the busiest part of the year. You're going to see the most number of houses sold, but also the largest number of listings come on the market in the spring as well. So yeah, you've got tons of buyers, there's a frenzy. This is where you're gonna see bidding wars, multiple offers, things like that very often, but you also have a ton of competition from your neighbors also putting their house up for sale. You have to be prepared for a ton of showings at this time point, which can be a little bit inconvenient. You have to be also ready for those quick showings where somebody phones you up and says, hey, I'd like to see your house in 2 hours. So things like that, it can be a little inconvenient because you've got all these people going through your house and sometimes at short notice. Every year though, I have sellers that tell me, well, I want to wait for the spring market to put my house up for sale. I want to wait till the weather's a little bit better so that the photos look good and I can do some yard maintenance, things like that. And every single time they say that, we get a blast of warm weather earlier than we anticipated, and I'm run off my feet. Buyers are looking at houses, and those sellers that were waiting for the better weather missed out having their house ready for sale and that big push of buyer activity. So yes, spring is a fantastic opportunity. It's probably your best opportunity to get your house sold. You're gonna have the most buyers out there, buyer competition, things like that. But if you miss that opportunity because you're waiting for better weather, you're gonna miss out on that big push. So if anything, I would be ready early for the spring market rather than late. You can always retake some photos as the weather gets better, but having your house available and ready for that big push of warm weather and that surge in buyer activity is really important. So for selling the spring market, yes, probably your best opportunity to get it sold fast. This is when buyers are out looking, but you've got to be prepared and capitalize on the opportunity that you have presented in front of you with all these buyers out there. So when is it? When is the best time to sell your house? When are you going to get the best sale price, most activity? Well, spring is probably your best opportunity to get your house sold, but it doesn't mean that you can't sell your house in any other time of the year. In the winter, for example, we've already talked about it, you've got less competition out there, so you got less to worry about in terms of other houses like yours. But also those buyers that are looking in -30, they're probably pretty motivated to buy a house. They don't want to look at any more houses. They want to find one, buy it, move into it. Now, if you're thinking about selling and you want some extra tips and advice, I have a series of videos right here that you can check out, all dedicated to sellers. If you're wanting to know what the real estate market is like in your city, I do every single month a new update on the Canadian real estate market. You can check that out right here from my most recent market update. And as always, guys, thank you very much for watching.